Hey everyone, what a week it's been. The tariffs are on pause for now, but the whole ordeal has created a lot of uncertainty out there. How or will it affect Victoria's real estate market? So, in between obsessively doom scrolling the news for the last few days, I got a chance to chat with a lot of my clients, trying to capture the sentiment out there. And I definitely heard the phrase, we're going to be holding off for now, from a lot of my buyers and sellers, just to see how things play out. Not everyone wants to switch homes in uncertain economic conditions or commit to building or commit to a major renovation if construction costs could skyrocket. There's still lots of sales happening, 23% more than this time last year, but it comes down to individual buyers and sellers' motivations if they can wait a few weeks or a few months or not. Ultimately, though, life goes on and people always need homes regardless of anything else happening in the world. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. Looking at the January numbers, 2025 got off to a really strong start. Even quite a few multiple offers on detached homes. We saw condo prices start to recover or at least stabilize, and townhomes are up from this time last year. Anecdotally, I think out-of-town buyers are playing a big part in these strong numbers. People moving here will often pay a premium to get into a home and avoid dealing with having to find a rental. Personally, I've worked with quite a few out-of-town buyers to write some aggressive offers with quick closings for exactly this scenario. They just don't want the headache or the extra cost of having to find a rental, which, as you know, in Victoria is not an easy feat. And I think unique factors like Canadians wanting to move here are going to be the saving grace for Victoria's real estate market. If it's tariffs, inflation, unemployment, or any other major event coming into play that's outside of our control, Victoria will always be desirable. Victoria is quite insulated in that we have stable government jobs, we have a good tech industry, tourism. By the way, our tourism could actually get boosted with the low dollar, or even domestically with more Canadians not wanting to visit the States. And of course, retirees coming here. There is no shortage of people who want to retire to Victoria. With the exception of the last few days, of course, the snow we've had, this has been one of the mildest winters I've ever seen in the last 40 years living in Victoria, and there's just nothing else like it in Canada. We are so lucky to live here. I want to touch quickly on a few other points I've observed over the last few months. We get very focused on interest rates, but the phenomenal stock market returns in the last year, I think, has played a big part in our real estate prices. If, for example, you imagine a retired couple with their nest egg in index funds or mutual funds, or perhaps it's the down payment gift that they want to give to their kids tied up in the stock market, people have a lot more buying power. We've had returns of over 20% in a lot of these index funds and markets, and that goes a long way in giving people extra buying power. They can buy bigger properties, they can move up the property ladder. I also want to share a word of warning when buying or selling tenanted properties. It's becoming a huge pain, don't do it. An accepted offer in February means you may not get keys to a tenanted property until June. You have to factor in a 3-month notice given, and that notice doesn't start till the end of the month, in the month it's given. A lot of buyers just don't want to wait that long or assume the risk in that worst case scenario if the tenant doesn't actually move out. So familiarize yourself with BC tenancy laws, write contracts to protect yourself, and if you're selling, vacant is better, and I think you'll likely see that reflected in the sale price. One clarification on new construction pre-sales. So I got some feedback that I was bashing pre-sales and new construction in my last video. That's not the case. I'm still selling quite a bit of it. I just think there's some risk in pre-sales, and in most cases, the numbers don't really appeal to me. New construction is great though. You can actually walk the space. Maybe you can find a developer who has some inventory they can't move, write a low offer on it, negotiate, see what happens. And the big savings with property transfer tax, up to $1.1 million now, that's a big advantage compared to resale property. I try to capture sentiment in my videos. There's a lot of other videos on YouTube you can go if you just want the stats, but market sentiment, what's actually happening in Victoria, that intangible metric is something that's really important to me. So please let me know what you're seeing or feeling out there in the comments below. My advice is not to panic or make any rush decisions. We saw tariffs in 2018 from Trump. We saw major disruptions with COVID, and the real estate market not only survived, it flourished. If inflation goes up, holding real estate is a great tangible asset. If construction costs go up, that only makes existing stock more valuable. There's a lot of signs out there to be optimistic. even in these uncertain times. And Victoria real estate has proved time and time again to be a great investment. So we just have to ignore these fluctuations. Buy and sell real estate with this long-term, at least 5-year horizon in mind, and you should be just fine. And of course, most importantly, don't listen to anyone on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.